Why US is a superpower? With less than 5% of the world's population consumes roughly about 25% of the world's resources. And what it is like to be a superpower in a globalized world, unlike the previous superpowers like the British Empire or the French Empire. There are 5 things that the United States has championed in order to be a superpower. First and foremost, its economy and finance dominate all throughout the globe, as its currency accounts for almost 60% of the world's reserve currency and the most internationally traded currency. But its system is weakening as other countries are joining hands to win away from the economic and financial dependence on one power, especially because of sanctions from financial payment systems, embargoes, and sanctioning countries at whim if they do not like the policies. The rise of BRICS, as many countries are powering to materialize BRICS Plus, they have now developed an alternative payment system backed by blockchain technology, which in some sense could be a huge relief to the rest of the world, but it's not quite there yet. The other factor is control over science and technology, and we have seen so many American companies dominating throughout the globe. You can name Apple, Tesla, Amazon, and so many other defense companies. It dominates on hardware and software of all digital technologies and is leader in social media companies like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so many others, which is also weakening, particularly because of rise of China, as China is investing heavily in research and development and is now leading in 37 of the 44 critical technologies of the future, which can take away US role as dominant innovative country in the field of science and technology. Other factor is controlling world's resources. As I have already mentioned, US consumes about 25% of the world's resources with less than 5% of the world's population. And American companies are favored because of American dominance throughout the globe, from Africa, Latin America, Asia, for the resources, particularly minerals, oils, and others. This provided a huge leverage for the US economy to grow and US companies to profit more, while people in poor countries are not much benefited. It's like looting of the resources with bribes, sanctions, military power, as they have destroyed so many countries for the resources especially. But they do not see that as resource grabbing, but rather they paint that as keeping the democracy, human rights, and liberal international order by invading sovereign countries against United Nations resolution. And this influence is also weakening as other power players are on the horizon, especially the emergence of Russia, China. Other big factor in US dominance is because of its defense and military capabilities, as it patrols world's oceans and has over 800 plus military bases throughout the globe to mark its influence, and can do a pretty huge damage to the world and to anybody who challenges the US status quo. US spends more than the next 9 countries combined in defense, to almost $1.53 trillion in intelligence and defense. And US and its allies spend almost 75% of the world's military defense budget. Says a lot about US capabilities. Other big factor in which the US is strong is its influence on information. West dominates on hardware and software that we rely heavily on the informations, like social media companies, like broadcasting news, and they are pretty good at propaganda. They can do almost anything with their news to make anything favor them instead, even when they are wrong or even when they have done so much wrong. So this is the power that US has. And of the 3 I mentioned above, the US power is weakening at that point, while control over information and military capabilities are still dominant and can cause a lot of havoc around the globe, particularly because of the election that is looming around, and what happens if the United States decides to go for a major offensive against its adversaries.